Hello and welcome to the Four Steps Coffee Talk. Today, my special guest comes from the Latin America, from Mexico City, and his name is Raul Nanteras. Hello, Raul.
Hi Anna, how are you?
I'm very fine and very happy to see you again after a long time. We haven't seen each
Yeah,
other since last
I don't know,
autumn, I believe.
September, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, September 2019.
yeah.
Yeah, I met Raul in the Sedona College of International Management when we were there to study creativity and innovation by studying in depth the diamond cutter system or the four steps. The four steps who are the main and the biggest, let's say, VIP of this video series.
Yeah,
It's
the
the
most
biggest,
important
yes,
tool. Yeah,
exactly. So in this video series that I have called Four Steps Coffee Talks, I am inviting the people that I have met in the Sedona College of International Management, people that have used the four steps extensively, and they have reached various types of successes. And in this way, they are like role models that can be
okay.
copied or by the other people who want the same things. So let's begin. Yeah, Raul,
Sure.
can you please tell us what is your biggest goal that you have achieved by using the four steps? And before that, very importantly, when did you meet this system, the diamond cutter system, and how did it change your life?
Okay, I will go with a second question first. How did I get in touch with this system, with the diamond cutter system? It was around 8 or 9 years ago. Through my life, professional life, I had started a couple of businesses, and I wasn't very successful doing those businesses actually. So around 10 or 9 years ago, I was trying to train myself and to study a better way to make businesses. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister, she gave me this book, a business book called The Diamond Cutter. And I said, okay, let's go into it. And I started reading it, and it caught me because it was different from any other entrepreneurship or business book that I have ever read. So it caught me very, very quick because of the concepts and the ideas that were in there. And but that was it. That was my first approach. And I liked it. And when I finished it, I put it away and then went to another book and to other books and other books and other books. But one day, I remember very clearly, it was 2014. The author of this book, who is Geshe Michael Roach, went to Mexico City to give a public talk there. And my sister, once again, she convinced me. Actually, she almost dragged me to the to the auditorium to go to the public talk. And I said, okay, I have never met before a good writer. Like I thought of Geshe Michael at that time because I really enjoyed his book. And I said, okay, I will go. I will go and listen to his talk. In that day, I heard the explanation of the life tool that in this system is called the pen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that explanation just blew my mind, and it changed the way I was seeing everything in my life. It was wow, like something very, 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 very deep inside me changed at that exact moment. So I said, oh, maybe I didn't understand quite well the book. I will go back to the book and read it again. And now I have the book in my tablet, in my laptop, physical book, and I constantly using it as a to consult some ideas that are written there. So that was how I get in touch with this system.
Very cool. And how did it change your life overall since you have started to use it? Because it's not enough to read a book, because you just said you read the book and then you put it away and you read another book. So it's about the practice, it's not about the knowledge.
Yeah, what changed, how it changed my life, it's that when you start to understand these principles and to study them, you realize that everything that you had experienced in your life before, and everything you're experiencing right now, everything you will experience later in your life, it's only a responsibility of yourself. It's not responsibility of nobody else. That puts you in the driver's seat of your life. And that's how it changed my life. Because before that, we tend to make responsible to different people, or maybe macroeconomical conditions, or I don't know. We tend to I will use this word, to blame other people for what is happening to us. And when I started to understand all these principles, it changed the way I was seeing the problems that I was having, and I got accountable of those problems, and I started to work on those problems. Yeah, that's how it changed me.
Yeah, because if the problem is created by somebody else, you cannot solve the problem.
I cannot do anything. Yeah, exactly. But when I understand that the problem was caused by me, then I have also the solution, right?
This reminds me of something that a very cool trainer once said, and it really caught me. He said, "Did you ever realize that the common factor of all your problems is you?"
That's a good one. Yes, exactly.
What's in all your problems? You. So get into the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Yeah, cool. Okay.
That's a good one. I will use that one.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about one of your major successes that you have reached by using the 4 steps?
Sure. Well, as I was telling you before, right after I met for the very first time Michael, and I went back to the book and I read it with different eyes, from a different standpoint. Then I started using all the principles and practicing every day at my work mainly, and I became more conscious of the people around me and the needs of the people around me. So before that, I had a team, and I was always like asking the most from them, and always asking them, you have to do it better, you have to give better results, you have to work harder, and I was always pushing, right? And when I started to use these principles, to practice all the principles that are on the book, I changed the approach, and I was thanking more to the people for their efforts. Even though I may not like the results, I was thanking them for their efforts, and I was helping them to make their work easier, and I was training them, and it changed completely different how I approach to people, because I realized that all the problems that I had in my projects, that all the problems that I have that I'm seeing in the company and with my team came from me. So that's how I started to work on them. And I planted some very nice, beautiful. When you start using these principles, something that we call mental seeds, you start to plant them in your mind. So I planted some mental seeds that will help me to get the reality that I wanted. And I wanted a professional team that worked with me. I wanted to have success in the projects that were given to me. And I wanted also to have a higher level of responsibility in the company, okay? So I used the principles for around 6 months, every day, constantly with small details with people, just helping them, teaching them, training them, don't yelling at them. That was a very difficult one. Yeah, and it came a moment in the company. I will give you the big picture. Economics wasn't very good at that moment in Mexico. A lot of big companies were having trouble. And the company where I used to work, it's a very big company. It works all around the world. It's a Mexican company. And I was responsible of the projects of the department for the whole country, for Mexico. Okay? And when the problem started, the economical problem started, the company took the decision to shrink a little. So I was working at the corporate building in Mexico City. And in that building, we were around 1,200 people working just in the corporate building. And around the world, we like 60,000 people working for the company. So the company shrank about 10% around the world. And just in the corporate building, they fired like 400 people in less than a month. So it was a very, very big a problem that the company was going through. Okay, so that's the scenario, right? And I had been working for 6 months with these new seats to have a better team, a better job. And when this scenario came and people start losing their jobs, of course I got worried because I said, okay, it's very, very probable that I will also lose my job. And so the company called me and said me, you're not losing your job. Actually, we want you to get in charge of the whole department, but for the 10 countries that we're working. So I didn't lose my job in this scenario, but I get another job, which is a job that I was trying to reach. And there were more qualified and experienced people that could apply for that job, and they gave it to me. So the conclusion that I got after that experience was that it doesn't matter if I'm experienced, if I'm qualified, if I have the seats, if I have planted the correct seats, I can have the job, I can have the results. Yeah, so that's one of the biggest achievements I have gotten with this system.
That's an amazing achievement, and I relate a lot to what you're saying because I have a similar story. And now when we are recording this coffee talk, we are in the middle of the 2020 lockdown, when unfortunately a lot of people either have already lost their jobs or will lose their jobs in the future because the economy and the industries are going to change. We are going to shift gears for sure. It's going to be a very tough period. So my question for you, Raul, would be, can you share with us in this situation of a possible future economic crisis and a major shift in the economy, the world economy, how can a person who is watching this video can apply the concepts for I want job security, or I want to promote in my job regardless of the global situation or the company situation? Can you tell us the 4 steps for what you have done in a tough situation, in a tough economical situation?
Yeah, sure. I think the first thing, before getting into the 4 steps detail, I think that the first thing is to keep your mind calm, right? We know the crisis is coming. The crisis is coming. We know, as you said, that the economy is going to shift in major ways. And I believe that the worst thing that we can do is let our mind go like, wow, this is terrible. This is the worst thing that is going to happen. And not worry, right? Because when we get in that state of mind, we cannot think clearly. So I believe that's the first thing I would recommend to do. So by going through that part, I will go to the first steps as you were asking. So the first step that we have to do in this system is to say in a very short sentence what is that that I want to achieve, right? So for example, as you were saying, I want job security. Okay, that's it. So I have to make this short sentence. It would be better if I specify what those job security means, because job security for me is different than job security for me. But just to make it a general example is, I don't want to lose my job for the next 2 years. I want to keep having this job for the next 2 years. Maybe economy will stabilize then, and I can think of a different job then. But for now, I want this next 2 years, I keep the job that I have. So that's, for me, the definition of job security, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's step number one. Say what I want in a very short sentence. Yeah. Step number two is look for someone that wants something similar than I want, and help them to get what they want. Make a plan to help them to get what they want. Okay, so as you were saying, because of this crisis that is coming, there's a lot of people that I'm sure that need some help to obtain this job security. Okay, so you have to look for one person that is maybe worried about the same that you're worried about, and make the plan to help them to keep their job. And it doesn't mean that you have to make sure that he keeps his or her job. You just have to help him or her to do all the things that he can do and that he can control to keep his job, to maintain his job, right? So the plan, the perfect plan of how to do that, to help him or her, is to try to meet with that person, of course, via Zoom, right? Once a week, yeah, like we are doing right now. Once a week with a coffee cup or a teacup, yeah, and talk about the ways that you think that this other person can keep or maintain their job, right? So maybe that person is worried because, I don't know, as the case that I told you before, people around me, all my colleagues are losing their jobs. And I'm worried, of course, because they're losing their job, but I'm also worried about me because I have family and I don't want to lose my job. So what can I do? And during that hour, you just sit there and throw some ideas of what you think he can do or she can do to keep their job. Okay, so maybe why don't you try to excel on the results that you're having on your job? So if these decisions from the company come to fire some people or cut relationships, laboral relationships with some people, because you have some great results, maybe they won't do that to you. So what kind of job do you have? Oh, okay, I'm a manager in this area. Okay, so I can help you maybe making a strategy for you to grow the results with less resources of your department. So something like that, right? So you have to invest a whole hour once a week to help that person to keep his job, yeah? And when you do that plan, sorry, we are working the plan, we're in step number 2, you have to imagine how you're going to work that person, how you're going to help that person, and you have to imagine how that person will feel when they keep their job for the next months or the next years. Okay, so that's step number 2. Find someone that wants something similar than what I want, and make a plan to help him or help her. Okay, and then the step number 3 is just execute your plan. Just talk to that person, yeah, and make sure that he or she sits in front of the camera, prepare the Zoom meeting, and invest a whole hour to find ways to help that person to keep his job. Okay, that's step number 3. And it is recommended that these weekly sessions go on for 2 or 3 months at the beginning of this learning process of the 4 steps, because that will continue planting the mental seeds that we need to build the reality that we want. Okay, so you have to make sure that for the next 2 or 3 months you are available in that hour, that day, for that person. Okay,
What about step number 4?
And step number 4, that was step number 3. And step number 4 is a very important step that most of us usually forget. For me, is one of the most difficult steps. And contrary that people might think, is the easiest one. Yeah, it's the easiest one, but for me, it's very complicated. And I will explain you why. But this first step is what we call coffee meditation. And it doesn't mean that you have to sit like this and meditate. No, it's just, since you are meeting with that person 1 hour and you have a coffee cup with you, what you have to do in coffee meditation is every day at night, remember that hour that you meet with that person, remember that you had a coffee there, and just try to imagine how that people feel with the ideas that you gave, and how that people is going to be successful with the ideas that you gave, and how that person will feel more comfortable and more peaceful and more happy just because he or she has some new ideas of how to keep his job. Okay, and when you are remember that or imagining that that person feeling that way, you should also feel very happy. I should also feel very happy because I am responsible of this new happiness, of this happiness of this new happiness of the other person. I'm responsible. I'm helping him or her to keep their job. I'm helping them to get the peace of mind that he or she wants regarding his job. So I should be happy for that. I should feel very, very happy for that reason. And when we manage to feel really happy in our hearts, very, very deep in our hearts, that's how we make the mental seeds that we planted when helping that person. That's how we water those seeds, right? That's how we make the seeds to ripen very fast and very, very nice results for us also. So that's the first step, the coffee meditation, and it's where I should feel very happy for helping other people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I relate a lot to what you have said, because after I read the Diamond Cutter business book, the first place where I have applied it was in my team. At that moment, I was a team manager. And for managers who are managing teams, who have direct reports, is extremely simple, in my opinion, to use the 4 steps. Because if you want to keep your job, yeah, in this situation, you just need to focus your attention on your colleagues or team to keep their jobs. And by doing that over and over again, every week, every day, yeah, because a team manager is managing the team every day, not every week. So it's part of the job description. Yeah, you are planting these seeds consciously. And if you add the happiness and the wisdom of the 4 steps, then the result is kind of automatic. And for me, in my personal experience, I have promoted from the team manager job that I had in a small country in Eastern Europe to the headquarter in the UK, just by helping my team to promote, because everybody wants to promote at the job, especially when there is no crisis, there is no financial situation. Everybody wants to, not everybody, the majority of people want to grow. Yeah. So I wasn't keeping my team members like that. No, you need to stay in this job. Yeah. I was helping them to go to better jobs that they want. And in this way, I was forced to go to the better job that I wanted. Yeah, so it's extremely fun and easy to apply it in the office, because you have everything there. You have the people who, yeah. Okay, so thank you
Yeah,
very much
exactly.
for detailing this, because it's a hot topic right now, and it's going to be a hot topic, unfortunately, for the months to come. And maybe somebody will be inspired, and instead of feeling fear about losing their job, they will focus their attention to helping a colleague that has the same.
Exactly. That's I believe that's the beautiful the beauty of this, because you have a problem, you're worried about losing your job, and the best way to keep your job is stop focusing on your job and focus on other people's job. Help other people to keep their jobs, and that will automatically give you the result of keeping your own job. So it's it's cool.
It's completely different from how we
Yeah,
have been taught in school or in
yeah,
our childhood. We have been taught to grab what we want instead of giving what we want. So that's why this system
exactly.
is so maybe weird. But until you
Weird and
try this weird system,
innovative and
steps, not only with the
yeah,
three, with coffee meditation also, yeah, you convince yourself by doing it, not by listening to other stories. Yeah.
yeah.
So at the end, I would like to ask you, what is your life vision, and how does the four-step fit into that life vision of yours?
Okay. Uh, since I was very young, before I even met this system, I was kind of worried of getting at the end of my life. I don't know when that will be, but I was worried of getting at the end of my life and look back and didn't like it, what I was seeing. So I was worried about that. That I wasn't maybe doing something meaningful with my time here.
Mhm.
Yeah, and when I got this contact, got in touch with this system, I started studying it and using it. I understood that this meaningful thing that I knew that I had to do, but I didn't know what was that, was helping others to be successful. Yeah, I'm sure that by the end, if I do that, if I focus my life on that, yeah, by the day, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 20, 40, 60 years, I don't know. But by the time that I get to the end of my life, I can look back and feel happy of what I have done with my time here. So that's my life vision, to make sure that I feel peaceful and comfortable and happy with my time here by the time that I get to the end of my life.
Mhm.
So with that background, this system, this four-step system, helps me to keep the motivation to keep helping and helping and helping more people, right? And for someone like me, I was like you said minutes ago, we're trained all our lives to compete and to win and to grab what we wanted, yeah. And my mind is trained like that. And all the time I'm trying to win and to compete and to get what I wanted. Yeah. So when I use these four steps, I move from that a mindset to a new mindset, a mindset where I want to help other people to get what they want. And I understand that that's the only way that I will be peaceful and happy by the end of my life. So that's how the four steps help me. That is a tool that keeps me focused on what I really want to achieve in my life.
Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy that you have mentioned this, because I believe that it resonates with a lot of people. Because if we are asking ourselves very sincerely, deep down inside, what is one of our biggest fears, one of the biggest human fears is not to have regret at the end of our lives. And in
Hmm.
order not to have regret, we need to do something meaningful. And the most meaningful thing that we can do is to make other people's lives happy. And um, now I'm thinking, for example, I don't have kids, but you have kids, yeah? Uh, and I cannot imagine the happiness that a parent or a dad has when you are helping your children to learn something new or to, I don't know, when you are helping your children. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
it's, does it fill you up inside? I think so, right?
Yeah, it does. And when you do it with this wisdom, with this conscious, it fills you more because you understand that you're planting the seeds to see to see them successful, but to see yourself successful also. It's great when you have kids, you have opportunities to plant seeds every day, every day, every day, every day. Yeah.
Good and bad.
Good and bad seeds. Yeah, of course, and a lot of patience seeds. A lot of patience seeds.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, but
so
that's a good opportunity.
I was just mentioning this with the children and the parents because I think that it's a natural happiness that arises in our hearts when we are helping somebody. And if you are helping somebody as a way of life all day, every day, at the end of your life is pretty, I don't know, difficult not to think that you had a meaningful life. Yes, so
Yeah,
it's kind of automatic. Yes, so the first steps are like the actual system, the mechanics, the mechanics of having a meaningful life.
yeah. And they're not complicated. It's just a matter of making the decision to use it and to practice it. That's it. And it's uh, Geshe Michael says a phrase that made me a lot of sense, and he says, let's assume that all this system is it's false, it's not correct, it's not true, right? What is the worst that can happen by helping others? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if this is correct or not. You're helping other people, and what is the worst part of that? There is no bad part of that. There is no bad part of that equation. If you're helping others, you're making people happy, and you will be happier. So there's no bad part in that.
Yeah, I remember when once I heard him say, he was very funny when he said, the worst thing that can happen is to make somebody else happy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst.
So
Try
that's
it.
the worst thing. Yeah. So that's the advice here. Let's try it. Let's try it a lot of times, and trust me, your life will change for
Yes.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Great. So on this very positive note and very funny note, when the worst thing that can happen in applying the first step is to make somebody else happy.
Yeah.
I thank you very much, Raul, for accepting my invitation to the Four Steps Coffee Talk. And I hope to see each other soon, either in Sedona College or why not in Mexico. I would like to travel
Sure.
again to Mexico.
That will be great.
I
Yeah.
love
I
Mexico.
remember you. I remember you came last year here. So I
Yeah, and
hope
I
to see you
really
here
love
soon.
Mexico.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
thank you, Anna, for inviting me to this coffee talk. I really enjoyed a lot. And I really hope that somebody find this useful.
For sure, somebody, at least one person will. And for me, it was very useful also. So the objective has been reached.
Good. That's good.
Okay. Thank you very much and see you soon.
See you soon, Anna. Thank you very much. Goodbye.